Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me give you all time to come on in the room. Welcome to the Money Moves webinar, and we're just gonna hope that my internet holds up with me. So come in, let me know where you are tuning in from. Who do we have in the room? If you don't know me, I'm Nia. I'll be your Chief Learning Officer today, and we're gonna have a real money conversation. So this won't be your typical presentation. This is not just me here talking at you. This will be a money conversation. I want to give a few minutes just to have some time. So feel free to come in, drop down in the chat where you're tuning in from. Oh, hi, Katina. So, yes, let me know where you're checking in from. And I just want to give you the full disclaimer now that this won't just be me talking. We're going to have an interactive section. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to ask your thoughts and feelings about some things, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay, you're in Maryland. I've only been in Maryland like briefly. I drove there and I stopped in Baltimore. Oh, okay. So Douglasville. Well, yeah, that's where I am. So of course I know who that is. That's Leslie. She's one of my walking people. So if you all who don't know, I moved to Georgia. Actually, it's almost been a year. If you give me 2 months, because I mean, it's July 30th. So essentially, it's might as well say it's August. So with that, just didn't fix that. It's 2 months and have been here a year, and I feel like that time has passed by so fast. Like I can't even believe how fast that time has passed. Okay, from Douglasville. So my Douglasville people are here. That's what I'm saying. They're here. I sent out emails to remind those. You should have got emails from StreamYard. Oh, you're in Evanston. Yes. So those who don't know, I moved here from the Chicago area. And Evanston is a suburb that's like right outside of Chicago. And right before I moved from Chicago, that's where I lived. I lived in Evanston. I lived in Evanston, I'm going to say probably about 4 to 5 years, maybe. Yeah, probably about 4 to 5 years. I love Evanston. It's a wonderful neighborhood, great place to live, definitely. Oh, from the Chi. Well, Chi-Town is near and dear to my heart. Born and raised. I lived in Evanston when I left Chicago, but I literally had just moved there 3 to 4 years before I moved. Other than that, I was in Chicago. So when people have those battles and they're like, oh, you're not from Chicago, you're from Evanston. Like I was only in Evanston a few years compared to a lifetime. Yes, home of Northwestern University, which is one of the great. I used to go to a lot of their events and things. Are they finished with the stadium now? That's what I'm curious if they're finished creating the stadium. That I know they were talking about it. They were having like the city planning meetings and all those things when I left. Oh no, they're not. Oh, okay. All right. Trying to give some time. We did have more people sign up, so I kind of want to give them time to come in, but they're going to get 2 more minutes and we're going to get started because I want to be respectful of your time also. And it's not respectful of your time if I continue to wait. So we give them 2 more minutes. She said, hi, Tanisha. Hi, everyone. Yes. So we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to have some nice, mellow conversations. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it real today. But this is also a countdown for me. So I see more people joining. Whenever you join, let me know where you are chiming in from. I love to do this because I get to see like where different people are. And, it always reminds me of my connection to that location or that place. We're going to hope that the internet works well with me today. It was a storm here yesterday and my power and everything went off for an hour yesterday. So the trees was over here blowing and everything. So internet's been kind of funny today. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Hey. Welcome. I know where you're timing in from. So we got 1 more minute, and we're going to go ahead and get it started in here. And then the other people, as they join, they'll just join at that second. Yes, weather was crazy. That's one definitely difference with the change. Like living in Chicago, wind doesn't have the ability to build up as much because there's so many buildings and there's so many like high-rise buildings. But here it has more space to build up. So definitely an adjustment. but it's also hotter here. I haven't experienced snow in almost a year. I almost got caught by some snow because I went home for Thanksgiving last week and it snowed Thanksgiving weekend. So I almost got caught in some snow, but I didn't let them get me. But it's 7:05, so we can go ahead and get started. And those who else just come in, I'll just let them join. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my presentation to the stage. And then I might just start off with the full screen layout. Now, welcome to the Money Moves webinar. Our purpose of today is to transform your spending and help you achieve financial freedom. So first, I do want to mention some housekeeping rules. So there will be a Q&A at the end of the webinar. And then secondly, this is more of a money conversation. So this is going to be very interactive. This does not need to be a one-woman show. Feel free to chime in, share your tools, views, notes, and things like that, because I'll be asking you questions and I'll be getting your opinion on a few things as we have this conversation today. So the first thing I want you all to do is watch this video. And if this video resonates with you, if this video sounds like it's talking about you, then that's the first thing that'll tell you that you just might be in the right place today, because I want to make sure that I got the right people to be here. Okay, jealous girl. I'd be jealous of me too, because I was tired of that snow, let me tell you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. 1 second.
Hey! Sorry, I've just been waiting on you. All right, stay up. Wait, where are you going? I got places to be, so. Wait, but you just got here. Did I? What do you mean, did I? You're standing right in front of me. Am I? Hey, man, okay, wait, hold up. Why are you playing games right now? What's all this then, huh? What's this? What's this? What's this? Those aren't even luxuries. Those are just things I need to live. This ain't the Oregon Trail, baby. Those things cost money. Okay, but you're here now, right? So let's just talk about it. Okay, here, you're my paycheck, and I say you stay here. So just stay. Hands off of me. Paycheck. Your paycheck's gone. She left. As a matter of fact, my pronouns are past and due. Go ahead and call me a receipt, baby. Peace.
So how many of you have experienced that your paycheck, it came, and before you could even really acknowledge it was your paycheck, it was gone? You saw it coming, you waited for it to come, you anxiously waited for it to come, and as soon as you got it, it seemed like it just I got to come full screen for this. I had to come full screen. It seemed like it flew through your fingers. If you have ever experienced it, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm here to tell the truth and be completely honest and transparent with you. I have absolutely been there and had my paycheck. Yes, too many times. And yes, these days it seems like they go so much faster with as high as things consistently are raising in price, but our paychecks are not raising at the same rate. So it's creating a whole nother struggle. Like we've been in the struggle for a while, but it's now creating a whole new struggle that I don't know. I don't know if I'm necessarily ready for it. Let's just say that. So let's get back to it. Now, with that being said, a lot of the things we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about how you can budget like a boss. We're going to talk about ditching the drama. Okay? Ditching the drama. And the drama is debt. I don't know about you, but I don't like drama. I like to keep drama out of my life. I like to separate myself from drama. So we're going to talk about how you can ditch the drama in your life. And then we're going to talk about just overall wallet wisdom and how to be smarter about how you are moving with your money and the things that you are doing with your money. Because the reality is, it's not something that you're handling alone. It's not something that you're experiencing alone. There are others that are here with you. You have plenty of company, and it's something that is important for us all to work on. So 1 in 5 Americans are afraid to even open their credit card statement. And this can be in the mail. This can be through email. It can be so many different channels. but a lot of people are simply just scared to look at it. And that's a thing called money avoidance. And you feel like if you avoid it, that's something that you don't really have to deal with it in that moment. But the reality is, you not dealing with it or you not seeing it does not change anything. The next thing is 44% of Americans, they can't afford an $1,000 unexpected expense. So that basically means they don't have $1,000 in savings. And of course, these are based on statistical data from different surveys that have been completed. Now, getting down to us, because of course, we talking about us right now. 76% of Black consumers are living paycheck to paycheck. And let's just keep it real. Some people are not even living paycheck to paycheck in this moment. Some people are barely making it paycheck to paycheck. So looking at that 76%, that includes 43% who said that they struggle just to make ends meet. And then another 33% who reported that they feel financially comfortable. So to summarize all of that, only 33% of people feel financially comfortable. So I feel like my role that I have, my mission that I have personally given myself is I want to change these numbers. I want to do something about these numbers. I want to improve these numbers overall. And I realize that's something that's going to take time. I realize it's something that's not going to be overnight, but it is not something that I am not up for the challenge of. Okay, I'm ready, because the real struggle that we all are facing is, like we said, our paycheck, it's coming and it's going. Okay, it is coming and going. What you say, Tanisha? Tanisha says she thought it was coming, but it left before it got to her. She says she didn't even get a chance to really experience it, And as an adult, when you're out adulting, a lot of times that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like you don't really get the opportunity to use the money that you work so hard for. And all these credit card companies, they are not there with you when you peeling yourself out of the bed to get yourself up to go get this money. They were not there. But when you get paid, they're all standing there with their hands out. You feel frustrated. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed, or we feel like this is something that it's impossible or unattainable, and something that we just really don't know how we're possibly going to do it. And I feel like I talk to a lot of clients and customers all the time, and these are the type of things that they experience, and they need some hope, and they need to understand that it's absolutely possible. So with that being said, it's all about how you perceive things. And I know that sounds cliche and that sounds a little bit of crazy, but perception is reality. Okay? How you perceive it is going to be how you approach it, is going to be how you actually act in it, feel about it, and interact with it. So if you perceive it as impossible, or you perceive it as something that it's impossible for you to do, then the best I can tell you, you're absolutely right. So the first step is going to be you believing that it is possible, and believing that this is something that you absolutely can achieve. You have to. Perception is reality. You have to believe that this is something that is possible for you to do. And so for me personally, that's why I personally feel like I come with a different mindset than the typical person. I come with a mindset that I like. Greatness comes from I like to lead with my mistakes. And I like to lead with a sense of, I know I can be great. And I know I want to be great. And I know greatness is in me. I know I am destined for greatness. And most of us, essentially, we are aspiring to be great. Now, here comes the second video. So as you saw, I have a video clip for you. And this video clip is about greatness. So when you listen to this video clip, tell me if this is something that you believe, or if life has conditioned you to believe that this is the way and the path for you to achieve greatness. So first, I'm going to put it on the full screen to make sure you can see the full video, and then I'll go ahead and play the video for you. Greatness comes from suffering, from failing over and over until you bleed and cry. And then finally something inside just cracks open. Oh, see, here goes the internet acting funny. So she goes on to say that greatness is basically something that you have to consistently fight for. It's something that you have to work hard for over and over again until you bleed and you sweat and you cry. Now, is that something that you feel, or that you feel like, yeah, that's what I feel like I have to do? I feel like if I don't go through that, I can't achieve greatness. If I haven't suffered enough, then that's why I haven't achieved greatness. Does that, any of you all agree with that statement, or feel like that's how life has kind of set up for you, or you feel like that's what you kind of have to deal with and that's what the path is for you? Let me know in the chat. Yes, you do feel that way. Okay. So me personally, just to give you a little bit about my story, that's one of the things that I used to believe myself. If you ask my best friend will tell you, I used to say all the time, like, if in order for me to achieve anything, I have to do the most. I have to do everything. I have to go through 15 wheels, and it's going to make it so hard for me. It's going to be something that I'm going to have to seriously struggle with before I attain that goal. And that's something that I used to feel like. And so one of the things that I had to start doing is saying affirmations to myself and say that I deserve, I deserve this life, or I deserve greatness, and I'm destined for greatness. And if you're on my email list, you'll see that once a month I send out a mental health email, and part of that email gives you an affirmation for you to add to your repertoire. And I say my affirmations every day. I say them multiple times. I say them throughout the day. But this is something that I used to believe myself. I used to believe that that's what it was and that's what it should be. But the reality is, doesn't have to be like that. That's not how. And I like Asia said, like, sometimes it feels that way. I'll bring that up on the thing. Asia say she don't agree with that message, but sometimes it feels like that's exactly what it is. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to put that claim on yourself. You don't have to put that out for yourself. So me, myself, I've had my journey. I've had my ebbs and flows and ups and downs. And I call that phase of my life the solo survivor. It's been a wild ride, y'all. It's been a wild ride. So just looking at this picture that I have on the screen, this is a picture of me and my daughter. And this is when I graduated with my bachelor's. Now, the time of this picture was in May of 2014. And look like I'm very happy, right? I'm very happy. My daughter looks happy. We smiling, we grinning. I just graduated. I'm on a high. The reality is, at the same time of this picture is when I filed bankruptcy and I just lost my house. I purchased my house in 2010. And in 2010, 6 weeks after I purchased my house, I injured myself at work, and I ended up out of work dealing with workers' comp. And I worked for the federal government. So the federal government doesn't exactly move very fast. So what ended up happening is I got behind on my bills. When I started getting money and I started getting paid, my first mind was to pay my electricity bill so it doesn't get cut off, things like that. Not knowing, I didn't have the knowledge to know that if I got into foreclosure, they weren't going to accept any payments from me. So when I went to approach them to make the payments, they like, nah, it's all or nothing. If you can't pay all, then we need that house. We're going to need that house back. And that's the predicament that I was in. And so after I finished with my injury, I ended up having boots and casts, and eventually I had surgery. And for over 2 years, I battled with going to work and coming back. I did physical therapy. I did work conditioning, all of those things while battling my finances. And I wish I could say I did the smart thing and I saved all that money that I wasn't paying to my mortgage. But I'm here to tell y'all, just being completely honest with you, I didn't. I did not save any of that money. I was out there living my best life. And that's maybe why I had that big smile on my face. But I suffered in silence through this process. I didn't share with anybody. I didn't look to anybody for help. I felt like I would be a burden on them, or I felt like I was ashamed. I was doing good. I was 27 and I had just bought a house. My chest was sticking up. People were proud of me. especially given my past of like being on my own for so long, I felt proud of that. So I didn't want to come behind it and share a failure. I felt ashamed to share that failure. I felt ashamed to talk about that experience. So I suffered in silence, which means I didn't get the knowledge that I needed that possibly would have helped me save my house. So that's why I call that phase of my life, I call it solo survivor, because I made myself a solo survivor. Okay. I stumbled through it. I stumbled through that process and stumbled through getting my finances together. And it wouldn't be the last time I had to get my finances together. It would have been a time of many. And basically, I was a solo supermom. I was navigating different challenges of motherhood, learning how to manage my finances all on my own. And it's not something that was easy. It was a lot of times I felt like I was just surviving. I was not thriving at all. Okay. And then it came to different moments where it was like, okay, you got to realize that you've made a mistake. And so that's why I tell people, like, don't feel like that has to be your story, and don't feel like that has to be your journey. I've been evicted. Like I end up having to file foreclosure. I mean, I've ended up getting foreclosed on that property. I filed bankruptcy at the time of this video. So right now, as we stand with July of 2024, I just hit the 10-year mark of me filing bankruptcy. Okay. So I wasn't just out here making minor slips. These were full on face plants, but it helped me learn a lesson. So when I got to the point where I filed bankruptcy and now I have to start all over, that was the beginning of my tipping point. That was the point when I was like, okay, something got to give, because this is not something that I see for myself. This is not where I want me to be. This is not what I want for me. So with that being said, I had to do something. So I started to learn about my finances and I educated myself. And while I was still educating myself, full disclosure again, I charged up and made about $57,000 in debt. And so once I finally got to the realization and I started to, I guess you could say, finally put that life behind me, or like I say, get my life right with money, that's when now I'm thriving, I'm vibing. I turned that financial mess into a message for you. And that's one of the reasons why I come and I do what I do now. I come and I do it to share my story and show people that that doesn't have to be you. That doesn't have to be your story or what you experience. It's up to you to change it. Your money mistakes are not defining you, because at the end of the day, you are the one with the pen who is writing that story. And nobody can write it better than you, baby. So now at this point in the game, I'm an author and I've written 3 books. I've written 3 books and I co-authored another. So I'm an Amazon best-selling author. My life looks completely different than it did then. I'm not just surviving anymore. Now I am officially thriving. So if you look at this photo, and I'm going to bring it up to the full screen, this is the corniest travel photo that I own. Okay. It is a picture of me eating a slice of pizza in front of the Tower of Pisa. And if you know anything about Jay-Z, he has a song with Rihanna, and this is one of the lines from it. So when I was in Pisa and they had a pizza shack right outside of it, I couldn't help myself. But that's one of the things I love to do. I love to travel. I love to go and see different places. I love to get that experience, because that's really what we need. Then I'm a speaker. So I travel around the world. I work with organizations. I work with higher education institutions. I speak. I train their personnel to help them with, like, I'm talking a whole different life, y'all. And to be honest with you, you don't have to necessarily listen to me. You're more than welcome to hear what other people said. I like to share what other people said, so you know that this is not just me up here talking and blowing smoke up your nose. So I've been in the news, and this is one of my favorite testimonials. It said, I just wanted to report that with your book and guidance, I now have 0 Klarna Afterpay and only 1 Shop Pay left. So for those of you who have a toxic relationship with these buy now, pay later, it's something on the other end of the tunnel. Okay. Because that was one of the things that she struggled with. She had multiple accounts with each one of them. I've been published in major publications. I've worked with a lot of different organizations. And then these are just some of the testimonials that I've gotten from my different people. So the event was awesome, very engaging. It makes your situation relatable, builds trust that you were saying it's achievable to those who feel like it isn't attainable. So again, staying true to my word, I'm here to help. I'm here to show you that it's possible. But enough about me. I shared with you. I just like to let you know who you're talking to and show you that I didn't just pop up out of thin air. Let's get to why you're really here. The question that we all want to know, right? How? How did I do it? How was I able to make that change? How was I able to make that transformation? It was by starting to understand my finances. And when I say understand my finances, I don't mean just simply knowing my budget and knowing how much money I have. And no, I meant understanding my finances to know where my finances came from. So, question to the audience, can you think about or remember when you had your first impression of money or your first conversation about money? Oh, you knew the see, come through, debt free dad, come through, debt free dad. It's not corny. Thank you. I appreciate that. I had to. I was at the Leaning Tower of Pizza. How could I not? And they had a pizza stand outside. How could I not do it? Thank you. I appreciate that. I have been officially redeemed. But yes, to the question, how can you think about the first time that you had an experience with money or you had a conversation about money when you were growing up? Can you think about that? Can anybody say in the chat when they've had that first conversation? No, you don't remember. Okay. Because that's one of the things that's very important to remember, like how you learned about money. For some of us, the only way we learned about money is looking at the rich auntie that was always coming in from a trip when we were having a family reunion or a family gathering. They were always passing through, or you always saw them in really nice things and a really nice car, and you aspired to be like them. That might be your first impression of money, which created you to have a spending habit. When I got paid for a job at age 9. Wow. Working at 9. That's wow. When I got, so that's very early. And I don't know how much you learned about personal finance at that age, but if you're starting to receive money at 9 and you haven't really learned about it, I can definitely see that shaping, because that means you've had money for a long time. Now, mindful money habits, being mindful and strategic, babysitting at 13. Okay, we got some hustlers in the house. Okay, we got some hustlers in the house. So being mindful about your money habits and being able to acknowledge what you're doing, how you're doing it, and being more strategic about it. Like T.I. said, make your next move your best move. So understanding and acknowledging, okay, and giving yourself an automatic pay raise. That's one of the things I did. I gave myself an automatic pay raise by paying off my debt. So I built up about $57,000 in debt, like I said, and it took me about 2 years to pay it off. Every time I paid off that debt, I deleted somebody else who had their hand out for their paycheck, which means I now got to keep more of my paycheck for myself, hence the automatic pay raise. So creating the debt repayment plan was one of the great ways that I was able to create a better life for myself, and just smarter, and investing in your financial education. I've met a lot of people who they get through the budgeting, they get through that part, and like, okay, what's next? And next typically is investing, but they might be scared to invest. Well, you're going to need to educate yourself, invest in yourself, educate yourself on investing to help you lessen that fear. So one of the biggest weapons you're going to have against fear is educating yourself. The biggest fear, because the more you learn about it, the more confident you will become about it. You'll start to have conversations, and before you know it, you'll become more, I guess you could say, well-versed in it, close to well-versed in it, but you'll get a little bit more comfortable. It's like learning how to swim. You have to slowly start to get comfortable with being in the water before you just jump in there and start swimming. It's the same process, but you have to take that action to invest in yourself if you want to be financially stable. Now, one of the biggest things I did that caused me to be able to knock these things out was I took action. Okay. So that's one of the things I don't want you all to do today, to sit here, listen to this, get pumped up, get fired up, like, oh, yes, and then don't take any action. Because setting goals are great. Dreaming big is beautiful. But setting goals without taking action, those goals are now hallucinations because you're not taking any action to complete them. So goals without actions are hallucinations. These are things that you think you're going to do and you're imagining you're going to do. But unless you take that first step forward towards it, guess what? It's going to be very hard to complete it. Okay. So that was one of the biggest things for me, taking action. So back to when I said I had to understand my finances. I had to look in the mirror. I had to keep it real with y'all. I had to look in the mirror. What was I doing to self-sabotage my own finances? What was I doing? What did I do? And not to say this is not time to blame. So you're not looking at it so you can blame yourself. You're not looking at it so you can blame your parents. You're not looking at it for anybody to blame because it's not time for blame. Remember, this is time for action. This is time for achieving. Okay? You're looking in the mirror because you need to know what actions got you to where you are so that you can correct them. That's the only reason. It's not for you to point any fingers anywhere because that's time-wasting practices and it's not going to be productive. Now, if you want to acknowledge that and you need to be able to process that, that's completely fine. But if you're looking in the mirror just to find someone to blame, that's not the portion of their financial journey that this part is. I'm not saying you don't have to go through that process and figure out, but when it comes to you actually getting to the other side, it's going to take you being proactive about this. And that means looking to see what you did to sabotage it. For me, obviously, I was spending like crazy. I was spending money I shouldn't have been spending. I was swiping my credit cards like it was no tomorrow. And like this money didn't have to be paid back. Baby, I didn't know. I didn't know about credit cards. I didn't know. I wasn't aware. And the next part is being held accountable is not somebody attacking you. That I know they both start with an A and then they got two letters behind them, but they're not the same. Being held accountable is necessary. And sometimes you need other people there to hold you accountable before you can hold yourself accountable. And if that's the process, that's okay. It's whatever your process looks like for you. But that's why you have to be careful of your circle. You need people around you who are going to hold you accountable, who are going to push you. You need people who are going to support you, who's going to cheerlead for you, and who is going to be there like, okay, sis. Because that hype is what's going to help you keep reporting. I'm like, girl, I paid $100 on my credit card. When you find somebody you can get excited to tell that you paid $100 off on your credit card, that they might be the one. They might be the one. Because you know, and you all can tell me in the chat if you have experienced this, but I'm sure we all have experienced someone who's a negative Nikisha. And whenever you have something positive to say, they always have something negative to come right behind you to make sure they can talk you out of it. They're going to put their finances and their budget on you, which their finances don't have anything to do with you. They're going to be counting your pockets, counting how much money you have and what you should be able to afford and can't afford. Those not the people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about them. That's not the people you want in this circle while you doing this action. This circle that you're creating is to help you level up. Okay? And the last thing is you want to open your eyes and your mind. That's another way you're going to be able to understand your finances. Because it's a process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that you're going to have to start being mindful of and watch and pay attention to. Okay? That's what is about when you're understanding your finances. Now that we get in a grip and we understanding our finances, one of the things I had to do was create a debt repayment plan. And that debt repayment plan started with me decluttering my finances. And what does that mean? Decluttering your finances is basically that you're organizing what you even have. What is this bank account for? Give this bank account a name, a purpose. Okay, this is the bank account I'm going to pay all my bills out of. This is the bank account I'm going to keep my savings in. My travel fund is going to be over here. My play money, like separating your funds so that you know, okay, if my play money is over here and there's no money over there, guess what? It's not time to play. You might as well leave recess alone because you gonna get kicked out because you can't play right now. Okay. Then once you at that point when you get organized, okay, and you got everything situated in front of you, now you got to choose what strategy you plan to use. So there are two different very popular strategies. And so I'm going to come on the screen for this. There are two very popular strategies when it comes to debt repayment. One of them is going to be the debt snowball, which has been made very popular by David Ramsey. And then the other one is going to be the debt avalanche. Now, in deciding which one to choose is going to be based on you and your personality. I personally don't believe in cookie cutter solutions. So if you are someone who you need constant motivation and you need those small wins to keep you motivated and keep you focused, because I'm going to be completely honest with you all, when you start working on your finances, it's not going to look like this. It would be great. It would be great if it looked like this. But the reality is, it's not going to look like that. Your financial journey looks like this. It goes like that. So if you need small wins to keep you focused, because those wins are going to motivate you to keep going every time you get a win, it's like, oh, okay, yes, let's keep going. Then you need to go with the debt snowball. And I don't want to take up all night, so I can't break down, like give you an illustration of the full debt snowball and the debt avalanche. I have a course that I basically break both of them down and I give a demonstration and show you like with numbers so you can put together what using that method might look like for your debt repayment, but I don't have the time to break either one of them down. If you're looking at someone who you can stay focused, you're very diligent and militant, and you are on it, you don't need motivation, then you want to go with the debt avalanche. Because the debt avalanche, you're going to start with your highest balance, okay? So the last point is the difference between the debt avalanche and the debt snowball is the snowball, you're starting with your smallest balance going up. With your debt avalanche, it's really, to be honest, is focused on your interest rate. Because the goal with the debt avalanche is you're trying to pay the least amount of money back. So you want to look at how much they're charging you for the money they lent you, so that you can recoup as much funds as possible during your debt repayment journey, okay? Now, after you decided how you're going to pay this debt off, you created your plan and written down all your debts, who you owe, how much you owe, where you owe them. Your next thing is you're going to go to my favorite best friend, and that's going to be your budget. So, you all remember that song by India.Arie called The Truth? Where she like, girl, you know what he did? Girl, you know what he did? Like, y'all remember that song? I know y'all remember that song. I can't be the only one that remember that song. She said I do a combination of both. Exactly. That come through, Katina. So yes, because this is the point. This is your finances. This is your money. This is your debt repayment strategy. So my purpose in explaining to you how both of them work is because you have to decide what works best for you based on your personality, how motivated you are, and how disciplined you are. It's no harm, no foul if you are not very disciplined. That's fine. Acknowledge that about yourself and then choose the strategy that's going to help you be successful. Personal finance and your journey to financial stability is a self-awareness journey. Let me be the first to tell you. It's really a factor in you learning about yourself. You will learn so much about yourself during this process. So Aisha says she remembered the song. Well, the way that India.Arie was talking to her best friend about her man, that's the same way I want you to talk to your budget. When you out here in these streets and you're swiping your life away and swiping for things that you don't even know if you have money for yet, I want you to tell your budget what you did. I want you to fess up and be honest and let it know. When you out there doing good and you paying off debt, you stayed on 100 and you did what you needed to do, I need you to let your budget know also. So your budget is not there to restrict you. Just because it's something that's a want, it does not mean that it's not for you. It does not mean that you can't get it. I play this needs and wants game all the time at my workshops because I like to play around and start that conversation to let people understand. Just because a vacation is a want does not mean it automatically has to leave your budget. Your goals is going to determine what stays and what leaves. And as you continue to get more steadfast in your goals, what you want in your budget is going to change. And that's the real thing right there. And lastly, I'm going to come back and I'm going to repeat it again. It's going to take that action and accountability. You got your budget set, you have your debt repayment plan set, you've organized your finances so you know exactly which account will be paying off this debt, which account has your bills, you know where your emergency fund. And just for sake's purpose, a question that I get all the time is I get asked, should I pay off debt or should I save money? And I'm going to say do both. If you have $100 extra, send 50 to your debt, 50 to your savings. And you know why? What happens if you're in the process of paying off your debt, you're super motivated, you're making headway, you're gaining the momentum, and you're feeling great about yourself. And then something happened that's unexpected and you don't have any money set to the side to handle it. Where are you going to have to get that money? You're going to have to go and charge that same exact credit card that you were just making headway and paying off. That can be very discouraging. It can lower your whole feelings about this whole financial journey. And that might give an upset and cause you a very long time before you get back to it. Okay. So it's very important to think about. It's very important. So do both, pay off debt and save money. Okay. Now, the transformation. What does the transformation look like? What does this transformation mean for you? First of all, it's a family affair. So all your friends, your family, put them on notice. Let them know, oh no, I can't do that. I'm on a budget. And see, the thing about it is, just because you're on a budget, that does not mean that you're broke. Just because I tell you that this is not in my budget, that don't mean I don't have any money. That means that this is not in my budget. I don't have money for this. I got money, but not for that. And I don't feel any type of way about letting you know that. Now they're making this term called loud budgeting. But baby, I've been loud budgeting since been loud budgeting. You know, the next thing is when you start to see the change and you start to be able to have more of your hard-earned money in your pocket, that's when that gold digger gets unlocked, baby, and you become unstoppable. You become a changed person. It's truly a transformation. You become a person that you start to be mindful of things. You look in and you check in. It's kind of like me with my fitness journey. Since I've been on my fitness journey, baby, the minute I pick up a new product I've never seen before, like, let me show y'all. This is what I do when I'm in the store and I see a product. I'm like, okay, how much? Okay, how much sodium? Okay, how many calories? Baby, I'm a whole new woman because I have now started to see the light of what happens when I do right by my body. So I can't go back. I can't go back. So that's how you want to become with your finances. That's when the gold digger is unlocked. Now you're walking with a little bit of confidence because you know that you got your stuff together. You've been a grown person. You know, that's like you doing grown person activities. You an adult. You out here adulting out here. So it's a confidence booster because if you're ever in a predicament where you're stressed about your finances, you don't feel very good. When your money is funny, you don't feel very good. You're stressed about it. You're upset. You're overwhelmed. You're irritable. You're snapping on people. You don't want to go anywhere. You get mad about things, but you're not really mad about that. You irritated because you broke. Like, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real because I definitely have been there. I'm not here to tell you that I have not because I truly have been there. And then you want to work smart, not hard. And that's one of the reasons that you have to educate yourself and work on improving your financial education because you want to be able to work smarter, not harder. Get the information from somebody who knows so that you can shorten your journey. Okay? Because if you're trying to do it all by yourself, and that's another thing too, being the hardest worker in the room is no longer, it's not in anymore. It's no trophy for it. All it does is overwork you. Being the most overworked person, being able to, I did it by myself. When you had healthy resources and viable resources to help you, all you really did was make it take longer for you to reach your goal. You know what I mean? So that's one of the ways that you have to look at it, because we're trying to work smart, not hard. So I'm going to give you a brief case study from one of my customers. In full disclosure, her name is not Monica. I'm going to bring this on full screen. She basically, I don't know I'm going to leave it here. So basically, I'll give you the information about Monica. So Monica made $115,000 a year. She owed about $70,000 in personal debt. She had a 740 credit score, so credit wasn't really her issue, but that's how she was able to build up $70,000 in debt, because she had a good credit score. So she would get approved for credit cards, okay? And she had about 9 different credit cards with balances, and that's what created that 740 credit score. She was a professional juggler, okay? And what a professional juggler is, when the bills came, baby, she'll pay them. None of her bills was late. Her bills wasn't late. They was all paid on time. Her minimum payments was made. She was thriving in her head. But what she was frustrated with is she felt like she didn't know where her money was going, and she just couldn't understand. But when we get to counting up and calculating that debt, come to find out, Monica owes $70,000. So that's multiple credit cards that she got 3-digit minimum payments that she has to make every month. So can you imagine? Can you imagine having 3-4 different credit cards that you got to pay $200 and some to each credit card, and how much of your paycheck is that eating up? So even though she made $115,000, it felt like she made $50,000, because a lot of her money was getting sucked out. So she started working with me in about August 2022. And like I said, I'm going to tell you to look in the mirror first. I'm going to tell you to work on your goals, and I'm going to tell you to look in the mirror. And when we looked in the mirror, what we learned about Monica is Monica liked to swipe them credit cards. Monica has the money, but she likes to use her credit cards. And she would pay the credit cards down, but then she would need like home repair or different things, or just general swiping. Her first mind was to swipe her credit card, and she would tell herself, oh, when I get paid, I'm going to put the money back on my credit card. But she would get paid over and over again. And by the time she got paid, she wanted something else. So it led her in this cycle. And next thing she know, she got $70,000 in debt. Now, naturally, it took her years to build that debt up. It wasn't an overnight thing. It took some time. Because remember, she's making her payments. She got a 740 credit score. She don't have late payments on her credit. So what we did after we helped her realize and helped her break this habit, and one of the ways we helped her break this habit is I like to tell people to put their credit cards on punishment. And for that period, you try to work on stop using them. The goal is to go back to them, but sometimes in that moment, you have to stop swiping, because one of the biggest lies that we tell ourselves is that when we get paid, everybody in the chat, like, that's me. Why are you telling my story? But yeah, the biggest thing is that we tell ourselves that lie all the time. Oh, I'm gonna pay it off when I get paid. I'm gonna pay it off when I get paid. And we get paid, and it comes and goes, and we get paid again, and we get paid again. And baby, we never pay it back, because by the time we got paid, we got something else we want. Because we have to learn about that delayed gratification and understand that just because I want it now does not mean I have to have it now. And that's why a lot of people don't like budgets, but it's not the budget's fault, y'all. It's not the budget's fault. So after I worked with her, we was able to get her down to 2 credit cards. These credit cards are paid off now, but she's down to 2 credit cards. And what she does is she charges them and she pays them off monthly. Okay. And she does that because she wants to avoid interest, because that was her wake up call. When I had her go into her credit, I had her go into her credit cards, and I had her go look at her student loans, and I had her look at how much interest they were charging her every month. And baby, when I say her eyes got big and her lip dropped, she was like, it pissed her off. And so from this point, she was motivated, like, oh, this has to go. Something has to be done. So that was one of the things that really helped her. On top of that, she got a salary increase. We was able to get her a new job. I helped build her confidence, because another thing that really affects our money is salary negotiation. So she ended up making more money. Now she don't have the debt no more, though. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a struggle. She backslid or relapsed, whatever you want to call it, during the process. but that's what was, she was a coaching client. So essentially I was able to meet with her consistently to help her get where she needed to be. Okay. Another thing that we had to work on with her, Monica didn't have any financial boundaries. She was the person that her family looked to for money. So every time anybody passed away, they looked for her to put in thousands of dollars. Every time something happened, they looked to her to be the financial support. So she had to build financial boundaries to be able to look at her finances and say, okay, I love my family, but I am going to be broke and destitute if I continue to just pass out money like this. I'm out here like El Chapo. So that was the things that we really worked on for her. We got her debt paid off with our debt repayment strategy and her consistently working on it. And then we fully funded her emergency fund. So when she had some type of unexpected expense, now she has somewhere to go for that. Okay. So that's just to give you an example of something that can happen for you. It's something that can happen, something that you have the ability to make for yourself. So one of the courses, like if you take a coaching session with me, you get this. Like if you sign up for financial coaching, you get this course for free. But I also have this as a standalone course. It's called the Mindset to Millions course, and it has 3 parts. The first part is budget brilliance and mindful money. So kind of some of the things we talked about today, except I do a live demo. I do a live demo of 3 different budget strategies. So one of the things that people have a misconception about is they think that it's only one way to budget. But there is not. There are multiple ways to budget. But like I said, you have to find the one that works with you and your personality. You got zero-based budgeting. You got the envelope system. You have the 50-30-20 rule. All of those different budgeting types in this course, I break them down in what they are and what they mean. Okay. And I do it like live, so you can see like the numbers with it. The second one is debt detox. Now, in this one, I show you the different types of debt, how the interest is accrued on those different types of debt, so you can create a viable strategy to repay them, because credit cards get charged interest different than car loans, and you can pay off a credit card quicker, possibly, depending on your strategy, than a car loan, because your car loan is going to be applying interest every single day, while your credit card is not. It's only going to apply interest at the end of that statement period, based on what your balance is at the end of that statement period. So small factors like that make a big difference in how you'll build a strategy to pay off your debt. So this session goes through all of that and teaches you about the debt repayment and the debt avalanche. And what I personally used, I call the debt tsunami. And then the last session is travel and thrive. As I said, I'm an avid traveler. I've been to over 30 countries. It's a passion of mine that's near and dear to my heart. But a lot of people feel like you have to be, I don't know, balling, full of money in order to be able to travel. And that's just simply not true. You can travel without breaking the bank. And I'm not referring to staying in hostels, because me personally, I've never stayed in a hostel before in my life. Not saying I would never stay in one, because they got some nice hostels, but I'm not interested in the community bedding. That's why I don't stay in hostels. If you like hostels, you'll get an even cheaper travel experience. But this doesn't teach you about hostels. It teaches you how to find cheap flights. It teaches you how to save money with your planning, how to save money and be strategic about how you use your money. Because I'm true to my word. You want to work smart, not hard. Okay. Now, looking at this and what comes with it, it has 197 values. So most of my standalone courses are about 200. You will get a free chapter of my book. My book is called Budgets, Mindsets, and Money Moves, if you haven't seen that book. And it basically allows you to get a free chapter of that book. This is the link to it, which of course I can definitely put in the chat for you so you can sign up for it. But it's on sale right now. It's $49 is the total price for it. And I can actually, I don't know if you'll be on your cell phone, but I can put the link here for you to sign up. But this course is a 3-part course. It's also something that it's DIY, so you can log in and do it whenever you want to. You don't have to do it at a certain time. You also can come in and get access to my community. I have a very small community on Facebook that it's only about 6 in there. And I want it to be something that you are with people who are actually doing the work. Because like I said, I'm all about taking action. I'm all about taking action. So you get access to the community. You get to have me to ask my questions or whatever it is that you need. And the only thing left to do is for you to go ahead and sign up. If you have questions about it or you have a question you want to ask me about the course, I'm here to answer it. You do get lifetime access. So when you sign up, you get lifetime access. What I will tell you also, I am very big on making you take action. So when you sign up, don't think that you're going to sign up and never hear from me. You will hear from me. I will check on you to see if you're getting started with the program. You'll receive emails because action and accountability. I live by my words and that's to me, that's the way to get things done. And sometimes it's okay. You just need a little bit of a nudge to get there. And that's okay. That's completely fine. So if you got any questions, definitely drop your questions below. I did drop the link in the chat for you to sign up and let me know if you have any problems or issues. And then I have one favor that I ask of you, and that's to let me know how you like the webinar. So if you learned something today, you enjoyed this webinar, feel free. Scan this QR code, or if you have Google Lens or use your phone to scan it, if you can, take a screenshot, scan it, fill out it's a brief survey. It's about 5 minutes. And then it asks you for feedback about the session. Oh, 1 second. I probably put the wrong thing. Sorry. So yeah, this should be the link for, that should be the link for the class to sign directly up. It should go and it'd be $47. I just checked the link. Let me know if you have any problems, and then I can just let me know. But yeah, so you can use like the scan on your phone and fill out the survey. It basically lets me know how you liked it. You can give feedback. You can tell. Okay, good. I want to make sure. You can tell me what you liked. No problem. What you like, what you wanted. If you found it helpful, if you find it actionable. A big thing that I want from my sessions, I want them to be actionable. I want you to be able to walk away from this and go know something that you can do right now to make it happen. If you all don't have any other questions, that's all my time. It's about to be 8 o'clock. My time with you is done. And like I say, I respect your time. I respect your time. And you all just let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to give you 2 more minutes and then I'll let you go. Thank you all for spending your Tuesday night with me. I sure appreciate you. Hope you learned something and enjoyed it. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. I love it. Thank you. You're welcome. You are welcome. Well, you all have a wonderful evening. Finish your Tuesdays. I personally have to eat because I have not eaten my dinner yet. So that's what I'm about to go do.